What's going on, guys? This is Eric Smith. I'm here, Fifth Dread from FifthDread.com, by the way. And I'm here working on my arcade cabinet. So what we have so far is a broken down computer, a bunch of tools, and a bunch of plans up in my brain. We talked about how we're going to do a bar top cabinet. Something that would sit like where that microwave is, except probably tall to the point where it'll actually hit that, shelf or whatever, cabinet. So what we have planned, so I've been doing a lot. Let's talk about what we did today. This is like day 4 of, I think, gosh, I'm losing track of the days. It's Saturday right now, so yeah, day 4 I think. We have, we went to Home Depot and looked around, see what we could find. Bought some tools. This is actually a we have a, what's this called, a router and a routing table. It's the cheapest one, dude. It's like such a piece of crap. But anyway, it's down there. Bought some bits for it. A bunch of stuff. And we have a computer here, torn apart. Check that out. That's actually a working computer with the exception of the wires everywhere. I stripped down everything I could from one of my old workstations. My old gaming computer. Threw in some parts. I'm going to tell you the parts later. But let's just say it actually works. So we have, I had an old processor, old power supply, old, video card, 4 gigs of old RAM, DDR3. This is an AM3 motherboard. And it's coming together pretty good. I was going to buy on Amazon a micro ATX motherboard, because I have this ATX motherboard, and just to slim down on size I wanted to go smaller, but it turns out my monitor in width is longer than this entire length right here, from top of the case to the bottom. So that's good, because that means I can actually fit an entire ATX motherboard in there and a power supply just like a standard computer, actually flat like that, and that's how I intend to have it in the back of the, like say this is the back of the bar top. This would actually be mounted just like this, and I actually bought off of Amazon. It's not a case, but it's a, what do you call it? It's like a test bench. That's right. A plastic test bench. It's like, I don't know what it's made of. It says acrylic test bench or whatever. If you look on Amazon, you'll find it. And basically I bought that to mount my motherboard to inside of the case. And the reason I wanted to do that, I didn't want to mount it directly to the wood, because I didn't feel like drilling holes and all that. So what I figured I'd do is just have it kind of mounted in there somehow. So if I ever had to work on it, I would just slide that plastic mount out and actually work on the computer components, slide it back in. So that's the goal. A big thing that I wanted to figure out before I start planning the actual designs, because I'm building it myself, I got all the tools, I bought a table saw too, I wanted to know what limitations I had to work around. So I measured the monitor size, and I understand I want to mount it with like a almost vertical, a little bit angled, and I want the computer. I wanted to find out what computer components I had to work around. So if you look, I actually measured, the power supply, how high it is, because the monitor is going to be mounted like around. Let's talk about sort of like right here, because this is the front side, this is the back side, so it's going to be mounted sort of like an angle right here. And the thing it actually will maybe end up hitting is this video card here. This is a 460, an old GTX 460 PNY I had. So I was able to mount it in here, and actually it might be bad. I know when Amanda was using it, which is my wife, she was having issues with it, but I think the reason she was having issues was bad drivers, and the game she was playing, it just wasn't, I ended up giving her one of my new ones. I was running Crossfire until that happened. So that's kind of like my old one, her old one, and the power supply is more than enough. I mean, this is actually like a gaming computer, you know, for my MAME bar top arcade, so it's kind of cool. It's actually got like a lot of I/O in the back, you know, as far as like dual DVI and all that, like overkill pretty much. So, oh yeah, it's gonna mount via DVI to the monitor and everything. So I got the hardware figured out. The only thing I need to wait on, I was gonna buy like a whole new setup. So to save myself like $250, I just stripped down all my parts, pieced together a computer, and it actually works. Oh, I gotta show you guys this jerry-rig job in here. So I took the front side USB. It's gonna be hard to do with this iPad. Now I kind of mounted it in there. That was the front USB little panel, and I wanted to run wireless. So let me see if I can just show you guys. This is actually a Belkin wireless card, stuck in the front side USB and zip tied up in there. So it's actually fully wireless. I can actually plug in this piece of crap into the wall right now. It'll automatically connect up to my wireless network, and I can just remote into it. RDP connection I have open, so I can work on this guy from like upstairs. I don't even have to have a monitor hooked up to it or anything. I just plug it into the wall, push the power button, which I also stripped that down. Right now we're running this guy. This is the little power button. So this guy, the little switch I'm going to use for the actual button to wire up to the front or the back or the top or wherever I'm going to put it. So that's kind of cool. Oh yeah, there's one piece I did have to buy for this. I'm running right now, if you look, I know it's kind of a mess, but my CPU, let me clean out of the way this fan right here. It's actually a stock AM3 Plus. It came with my, you know, actually it's just a normal AMD AM3. Came with my Phenom X6, what is it, 1100T or whatever. So that's a stock AMD fan. It's loud. I mean, it doesn't cool it that well. And I figured in the cramped, confined spaces with the lack of ventilation, you know, I do everything I can to not only make it a small size, but making it, you know, less noisy too. So I purchased a liquid, like a standalone liquid cooling little system. If you're familiar with the Corsair H60, H80 systems that are like come with a little black reservoir with 2 small tubes and a CPU block. You know, I had an H60 for my computer upstairs, and it was a piece of crap. So and it's messed up, so I'm not going to use that. And then my wife has an H80 and it's running great. So I ended up purchasing you know, another liquid cooling system to replace it. It's like a different brand, but it has a good rating, so we're going to see how that works. But I'm happy about it because it's going to mount right onto that that spot for the actual kit I bought, the test bench. It's going to mount on the test bench, and that's not going to give me any kind of like in the way giant, like, because I have no room for an air fan, a bigger air cooler, and I don't want it to interfere with me mounting my monitor in there. So to kind of minimize the amount of stuff I'm going to have right there, I'm going to have that small, you know, vertically smaller CPU block, and then have all the beef of the cooler be like here in the back where it's going to be out of the way. So that's kind of good. So you can tell I've been doing a lot of thinking today. The reason I bought the router, a lot of people are probably thinking like, you know, what's the router for? I want to round out the edges and do some cool stuff with the wood. It's like a cheap router. I'm actually, you know, I paid $100 for this table and the router combined. And, you know, while I didn't want to buy something cheapo, the only alternative I had was another one by the same company, $100 for a plunge router, which I wanted to be able to drill the buttonholes. Unfortunately, that thing had like a 2-star review, and I'm not going to buy some of the 2-star review. I'm sorry. It's just not. I mean, this has a bad review too, but at least this one has like better reviews because it's not it doesn't move like a plunge router does, so that's good. basically that's just to cut the wood. I went out, like I said, I went to Home Depot today and I looked at some MDF, 1/2 inch thick, was it like 3/8 or no, 5/8 thick MDF, which I'm going to use probably for, the body components or whatnot. But yeah, I'm looking forward to building it. But let me update you on one last thing, the software. So it's a real challenge, getting the software piece right, because if you know about the front end that I'm using for this bar top arcade, it's going to be Hyperspin. And Hyperspin, when you download it, just comes with the front end. It doesn't even come with all the art for the games, all that. So I was able to do some magical things on the computer and acquire like a huge artwork collection, huge video collection of like each game compiled. I was able to like grab all that stuff. Oh man, so happy, because when you go through the menu system, you see all these consoles. Okay, cool. Consoles are like old machines. Each of them have art. You go into the machine and then like bam, you got like art for each game. You can select them, and obviously they don't play the game because the games I don't have set up right, because for each system has a separate emulator for it. So like an emulator for PlayStation, the arcade machine emulator, Sega emulator, the freaking Super Nintendo, everything has its own emulator. And with each emulator has settings, and like you got to get it to work with Hyperspin and configure Hyperspin and all the directories and all that. And we'll get into the software piece in another video, because holy crap, it's a lot of work. But basically I'm in the acquisition phase where I'm gathering all my resources, basically all the games I want to put into it. I'm starting off with all the really difficult stuff. So Dreamcast, wow dude, that is like a serious challenge to get working. I think PlayStation 1 will be easier to get working, but the actual games are harder to acquire, because holy crap, let's talk about an example in size for these. If I'm downloading from, a torrent, we're talking like, for each, like, say I'm downloading A through Z of PlayStation 1 games, and I just want to download like F. F has 5 parts, and for each part it's 5 gigs each, so you're talking like, bam, your hard drive is going to be racked up. So the way this system right here works, actually, the bootable drive was going to be an SSD, but to shave on my costs, it's a 2.5 inch hard drive that's kind of just wedged right there. You can see it. 2.5 inches, kind of chilling. It's chilling right now. It's actually going to be nice and mounted when I finish it. That's the boot drive, and the emulator software, Hyperspin, and all that's going to be on a separate drive. It's just going to be a terabyte hard drive, and that's going to be enough. I anticipate about half of that being filled, honestly, with pure Hyperspin games artwork, because the artwork alone literally is 90-some gigs, just for the artwork for the games, the videos, the everything in the menu. And then let's talk about, like, Dreamcast alone is 90 gigs worth of software. And this PlayStation 1, I'm not even going to get that stuff, but I want this to be a complete collection, as complete as I can get. So, yeah, that's why I'm, going over the top. So, yeah, let's end this video today, and we'll talk about the software maybe tomorrow or something, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update. The computer's at least built. We got the wood and stuff we're going to buy tomorrow, so yeah, man, we're looking forward to it. Anyway, if you have any questions or have suggestions, just leave them, on YouTube below, or check out my blog I'm going to be putting on, I'm going to put it on fitdread.com. If you go to the blog section and look at, it's like the newest blog there, it's like Arcade or whatever, Eric Arcade blog. There's only like a few on there, so you can't really miss it, but I'm going to basically link these videos to that blog and then put my own little blurbage in there. There's really nothing in there. This is day 4, but if you want to follow me on there, there's that too. Anyway, thanks, and see you guys later.